Uh, 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 uh. Hello, chat. Sorry if my voice is a little hoarse. I'm like kind of dead right now. Um, I need to sip a lot of water to make sure my voice isn't like hoarse or like damaged or something. Can't be worse than Parrot. Yeah, it's not as bad as Parrot. So thankfully we have that for us. Did you have enough sleep last night? No. Because I only had to sleep for like 2-3 hours because I had to go somewhere else, like classes afterwards. I forgot I did have them. Anyway, yeah. You sure you're not sipping beer? I'm sipping both water and beer. So, yep. Yep. I was hoping nothing more was gonna come out, but you know what? Something did come out, and it's something that's relatively, let's say, not impressive or not necessarily important, but it's an interesting attempt to sway the public opinion. Is all I'm gonna say. I did read through some parts of it. I've only read like the first part until I decided to go for everything. Before I decided to go everywhere, because I felt like my genuine reaction has to be like out here before I say anything. So, yes. Going forward, chat. Let's well, I'm not gonna say that we should be civil. I mean, I feel like that's gonna have to be like a common sense here. So, I don't want any like mean words being spouted to the person in the chat, to the person in this fucking that made this thing. I don't want any shit flinging. I don't want anything. You're too biased though. I try to be objective. The document is also kind of biased. We're all biased, bro. There's no escape. We're all biased. It just has to be the narrative that wins has to be the one that is more convincing, has the better information, who is more informed and who is more logical. That's all. But aside from that, we're all biased. Mm-hmm. So I'm not even gonna try to say that. I'm not even gonna try and think that I'm some fucking authority on the matter. I'm just some dumb YouTuber that has been in the industry and likes Hololive and NIJISANJI at the same time. Although, again, with the current events, I don't think I like this company anymore. Where did the doc happen? It happened on Rentry again, the same website that the Grand Unifying Rrat was published. So, let's go on with this. Let me just let us go with this. I don't know what to name this one, by the way, chat. So if the other document was called the Grand Unifying Rat, what do we call this? The anti-rat equation? Too quiet? Hold on. I'm pretty sure I'm not that quiet. Wait, never mind. Yeah, I was a bit too quiet. Alternative truth, heresy, the rat refutation. I'm just gonna call it the anti-rat equation because that sounds badass as fuck. Oh, thank you, Rue Shady. Keep it up, man. But please try to avoid alcohol. I need alcohol just so I can pass out and fall asleep after this is all over. But yes, let's go through the anti-rat equation. Chuny as fuck? It's not chuny as fuck. It's a fucking Justice League reference, okay? It's a Justice League reference. It's funny. It's funny. Do you know about 39 Daft's take on this drama? I do not. That was why I was asking chat earlier. I mean, I did hear about it, but I didn't fully go through everything yet. But I will go through everything maybe later. I heard that Asmon reacted to it, so we're going to go through there. It's bad? Alright. I personally don't know 39 Daft. I've only heard of her, but I don't know her. So I don't know how smart she is, or if she's logical, or she has like a relatively good reputation when it comes to these kinds of things. So I'm coming in blind, which is the best way to go into things. Blind. Hold on, let me see. God. Chat, I'm going to mute the Streamlabs and this stuff, okay? Because I don't want to get disturbed while we go through this, okay? Anyway, let's go. Anyway, Salen Tatsuki / Dogiperd and NIJIEN. A different truth. Note, I am not minimizing the impact of mental health and suicide attempts on people's lives. Harassment and bullying are serious accusations with severe consequences of both the accused and the accuser. Believing one side to be entirely truthful without the need for evidence has time and time again proven to be a mistake. Yet this has happened for the past 2 weeks. Interesting. Interesting that he said that. Note number 2. This is obviously not a conclusive document. I have covered some key points which are often left out of the current conversation, whether intentionally or not. Please be aware I am continuing to add sources. This is not yet finalized. Well, it's not yet finalized, so let's I hope so. Evidence list. I guess we'll look at that later. I'm gonna open a new tab for that. If you have time, please read the whole document. If not, here are some key takeaways. The simplistic narrative that NIJISANJI Black Company and Selen's claims that she has made no profit in the past year are incredibly misleading. Calling out these does not make someone a company bootlicker. Any color has many flaws. Instead, it demands a focus on the facts. Okay, let's look at facts. Thus, try to look beyond such narratives of evil corporation versus helpless victim Selen. It sounds crude to put it this way, but this is how most of the discussion has been framed. Indeed, there are important contradictions and omissions between different statements made any color and the livers and Selen. Since the final NIJISANJI EN statement so far, Selen's attitude towards legal activity and overall this situation appears to have changed somewhat. As long as Selen's provide knows, every liver under NIJIEN will continue to suffer immense levels of harassment that has prevented every liver from carrying out their jobs to different extents. Okay. Let's look at this. Actually, I want to see the evidence list. Because I feel like I have to look over the things that he has to justify his claims first, right? Okay. Okay. Evidence list. A criticism of NIJISANJI are symptomatic to how Japanese VTubing corporations function, e.g. Hololive and Holostars. Axel from Holostar states, "The money you guys give me, what do I use it for? A lot of things. I use my money on a lot of are the music projects I've been cooking up." Marine from Hololive talks about project costs. As far as what we plan to make ourselves, all our own expense, the management pays for what they plan and make, but we pay for everything we plan ourselves. I got a lot, I want to make something big or good, and so I'm not looking to profit from that. I don't think that way in the first place because I make with what I get from everybody else. Muna from Hololive talked about how the company did not cover her travel costs from HoloFest or Home 3D. Muna also spoke about saving money to buy a house, but always ended up spending it on projects because those kinds of projects, like song covers in particular, I have to pay for these things, right? For the instruments, recording, mixing, illustrations, animation, I pay them myself. Okay, that's another point, but let's talk about this first. So I appreciate this part because it tries to make a connection to Japan to make it a little bit more objective, but it lacks a lot of information. See, chat, in Hololive, the percentages are bigger. It's bigger. Now, but aside from that, we already know that Cover Corp doesn't pay for everything Hololive uses. I've said this in my full story video. I fully believe that if a person wants or any VTuber agency wants to do projects that only involve themselves and don't involve a company, don't involve too many people or is a big event or that sort of thing, then they should pay for it themselves. So yes, I do agree with the sentiment that usually the livers pay for themselves. But here's the problem. The problem is that Hololive actually does sponsor and give official events and programs to their EN branch. And NIJISANJI, for in its nearing 3 years of existence, has not. And the things that they did try to sponsor and plan have all been cancelled. So I think them comparing the circumstances to Hololive is not the best. Whoever made this document, I think comparing them to Hololive is not the best decision. You can make this statement, but not use Hololive and Holostars as an example because it literally, there's a night and day difference there. That that I feel like if we compare Hololive, then 100% Hololive is the W. But again, Generally, if we remove the comparison, then this on of itself is true. It still makes NIJISANJI look bad because the talents had to pay for the big events themselves, but most other VTuber agencies has not done that, and things that Niji did try to support again were all cancelled. So, yeah. Second point, similarly, reasons why any color is so strict on copyright. In Japan, big for-profit organizations like Holo and Niji have especially to be careful when it comes to copyright compared to independent streamers. True, Hololive previously experienced being copyright struck, resulting in a numbers of videos across Hololive channels being privated. In another instance, an apology was previously also issued to Nintendo for failure to comply with streaming guidelines. Yes, this is the whole fucking Holocaust event. Fuck, I'm gonna get demonetized. But what I'm just in case the YouTube bots are listening, the Holocaust is not like the actual like genocide stuff that's happened. Anyway, this is not a dig at Hololive, but an example of how seriously corporations take copyright and due process in Japan. Always better to be safe than sorry when no person can cause problems for the entire company, even with the bureaucracy this necessitates. Chat, has there been anyone that have been digging at NIJISANJI for having copyright issues? I feel like nobody has, but then again, I can believe that there are some sickos out there that do. Because in terms of copyright, of course, in fact, Hololive has been more hanky-panky about it than Niji. But if this relates to the Mista and Nina appearance in the last cup of coffee, which it doesn't seem to be because that doesn't really delve into copyright, it's more perms than anything. Yeah. So, what does I don't know why this is necessarily here. I think this is common sense, right? Fucking obviously they have to comply by that shit. I think this is trying to justify, trying to argue that my perms was justifiable for denying the video. When if that's the case, then it's bullshit. The only perms that they needed was the permissions for ex-livers appearing. Because Lily Pichu and the producers gave them the copyright. So, anyway. NIJISANJI Black Company financially. Claims Selen lost 15,000 making her last cup of coffee cover and made no profit last year because she spent 200,000 bucks, Canadian bucks on projects. This is Any Color's fault. This is generally, I disagree with this take. I mean, I disagree that it is Any Color's fault, so I agree with this statement. I've said it before and I've said it again, if there's like a personal project, they have to be the ones covering it. But here's the thing. Any Color's projects, some of Selen's projects got denied and Any Color did not support them in any official events. So I feel like that supplemented, this supplemented with that other fact makes this look bad. Yeah. Okay, this is basically just breaking down the costs and stuff. Debunking the claim that NIJISANJI livers do not profit from the company. Now, I disagree with this. Fucking obviously, NIJISANJI livers profit for the company. Has there been anybody in chat, or anybody for that matter, that believes that every NIJISANJI livers get broke just by joining NIJISANJI? I don't get it. Has there been anybody making that point? No? So... No? Okay, here's the thing. I'm inclined to believe that there are people making this claim, but some part of me is that whole meme of imaginary enemy, or facts that I've made up just so, rats that I've made up just so I can debunk it kind of energy. Because I have not seen this, I have not seen anyone make this claim, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if there are others that will, like a few radicals that do. Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll also say it again. It's better to be a part of NIJISANJI than to be a nobody. Of fucking course, people that join NIJISANJI is going to get some money. NIJISANJI has clout among companies. They're gonna get you sponsors and show you to a lot of platforms. But I think the more interesting discussion, and the one that I think the document maker should have addressed, is the small percentage cuts. Because I feel like this is a stupid point to make. I feel like nobody says this. I feel like people make fun of the 2% thing, but not because the livers do not profit from the company. Now, again, I think the document maker should have addressed the small percentage cuts thing, which is terrible. Because Hololive doesn't even have that much of a bad percentage cuts. And our corroborating evidence for this fact is Kason. During the height of the 2% drama, Kason actually called out NIJISANJI for having 2%, while saying something along the lines of, "Oh my god, and I thought 50% was bad." So that's like an implication. That's Kason literally saying that I thought my time in Hololive and the percentage that I got in there was bad, but it turns out NIJISANJI was worse. That's what she's basically saying. So, yeah. Nah. Liver speaking out against NIJISANJI Black Company claims. Luca said the whole spiel. Millie said the whole spiel too. Here's my take. Here's the thing about Black Company, chat. When you're at the top of the food chain, even in a black company, you're still gonna profit, you're still gonna enjoy life. To NIJIEN, all or most people are at the top of that food chain. I think the doc creator should have taken into account the utter collapse of NIJISANJI Indonesia and the amount of complaint that they did, like the fact that, I forgot which one, but one of them said that they lacked the funding, among many other behind-the-scenes, let's say, complaints. Am I saying that NIJISANJI is a black company? No. I never said or will never claim that NIJISANJI is a black company, no matter how my content will make you think. I think NIJISANJI is a shit company, and they have elements and signs that may point out to the fact that they're a black company, but I can never completely say, with my chest puffed out, completely confident that they're a black company. But they are still utterly dog shit. That's my take. So no. So in this part, I kinda do agree, but at the same time, they're a bit oversimplifying things. NIJISANJI, Salen's past conflicts with, oh wait, no, there's one more. Claim, NIJISANJI managers frequently take over their Livers account. Ren denies this in response of mass speculation that, okay, no, this is bullshit. I'm sorry, doc maker, I think you should adjust this. This is bullshit. This one screenshot of Ren Zotto saying this doesn't prove anything. Unfortunately, Ren denies the one comment asking if they were the ones that actually made this tweet. Not that if management takes over their accounts. My counterproof to this, and everyone's counterproof to this that everybody has been screaming from the heavens, would be Zion Lanza's document and Selen's Twitter page being taken over and making the tweets that she did not make. Those should be the evidence you need to actually believe that management does take over accounts. So no. Nuh-uh. It doesn't debunk the skinwalking. Yes, exactly. Skinwalking happens, unfortunately. Selen's past conflicts with management. I've written very heated messages off stream. I have let my temper get the best of me and wrote very heated messages in the past. I've showed these messages to people and they were like, holy shit, that's a little too intense, Selen. Okay, I can believe that. Example of Selen's tweet that paints NIJISANJI in a bad light by omitting context or lying. Okay, I can believe this. Versus Selen's follow-up statement. I messed up earlier tweeting about my excitement and starting my plans with organizing the tournament, as I assumed my old approval for this was in fact still there, since I've been in discussion for it before the Tuyo Tetris tournament. But I did get in trouble since it wasn't finalized or the new date that I thought was. So, generally speaking, I think this part of the thing is trying to assert that Selen is not a perfect figure. Or trying to debunk the fact that Selen is this fucking completely innocent victim. And no, I have said this before. I don't know about you guys, but I've also said this in my previous videos. I actually do agree that Selen is not like that Selen was very difficult to work with behind the scenes. But what part of this is lying? What do you mean she's lying? I can see a lot of omitted context, and again that still makes Selen look bad. But I don't think she was necessary. I don't see any lie here. Aside from omitting context. Omitting context doesn't mean lying. You know? But what's this supposed to prove? Because this project being in the making for apparently multiple months, and they didn't have the due diligence to check on Selen actually makes NIJISANJI look bad. Because at that point, that's the responsibility of the company and not Selen. They were the ones that's supposed to be like, fucking, hey Selen, you need perms for this. Selen before, like literally, why did Selen have to, why did NIJISANJI only put this out there when it was already behind, like when everybody was still already talking about it behind the scenes, when it was already getting planned, when posts are getting posted, I have to imagine, right, that management can see what the livers are talking about in their Discord server. Why was there no, like, let's say, interruption there? Why did they wait until Selen had to announce it and for graphics were to be done before they stopped her? That doesn't make Selen look bad. That makes NIJISANJI look bad. So no. This doesn't prove anything, in my opinion. No. Okay, the art contest. Selen posted this without proper authorization by management, as shown by the need to backtrack and chase prizes later on. Concerns were also raised about setting a precedent in which livers should fund their own outfit designs. It's important to note that the livers do not pay for outfits, a claim Selen herself previously debunked. There was only monetary award offered because Selen changed the rules to involve prizes, making it a personal, non-company funded project. Nobody's trying to debunk that. Selen openly says that look, I think OP is misunderstanding here. Selen wanted to award people with her own money. Management was stopping it. What do you mean? Selen yeah, I think the OP misunderstood this. Yeah. Other livers' experiences with management. Note that does not automatically invalidate Selen's experience with their managers. Rather, these are examples to dispute the generic black company accusations which paint management as a whole as malicious and uncovering to the livers' content. I can fully believe that there are some, I've said this before in previous streams too, I actually believe that there are some managers in there that are good and that are kind. But just because there's a few managers there that are good and kind doesn't mean it's all good and kind. Again, okay, so generally speaking, I can agree that the generic black company accusations are not completely true, but I think the evidence, or rather the evidence that she puts out here, the points that she made, is completely, well, not completely faulty, but like it's missing a lot of contexts and informations. So I'm going to suggest to the author to make some edits for this, because it's a bit shaky what she presented as evidence. Anyway, going back to the whole thing, the simplistic narrative that of NIJISANJI Black Company and Selen's claims that she made no profit in the past year are incredibly misleading. Calling these out does not make someone a company bootlicker. Any color has many flaws. Instead, it demands a focus on the facts. Okay, again, let's look at the facts. Oh wait, I've already read this. Never mind. Okay, so these are the statements that she has in chronological order. We've already seen this one multiple times, but let's go through the others. Chat, I'm going to look at your super chats later, okay? Anyway, NIJISANJI equals evil company. The current narrative seems to go like this. Selen as the ultimate victim, unjustly fired by an evil company which has shown favoritism against her, sabotaging her projects and stifling her potential. This black and white claim easily draws public to support the underdog Selen, who was broken free of corporate shackles to rise as a solo streamer. Okay, yeah, I can believe this. This is the current narrative. This is what everybody goes with. Okay. Supporting the remaining livers is equated to either supporting the people who bullied Selen, supporting an evil company, can't separate the liver from the corpo, or C, actually harming said livers who are also victims trapped in an abusive relationship with the company. So this part, what she says is real though. I mean, like, a lot of people also do equate, these sentiments are equated in these manner. But I don't believe in this. I've never believed this. I don't think the livers are victims trapped in an abusive relationship with the company, but I do believe that management may have, let's say, misled them, said the right things at the right time, used the right technicalities in the wrong situations, those kinds of shit. That's my personal rant. Whether or not you believe in it, it remains to be seen, either true or false in the future. But me personally, right now, I'm going to believe that supporting the company right now is not necessarily supporting an evil company, but supporting a company that's fucking dog shit. Yes, you can't separate the liver from the corpo in this case. We really can't. You throw money to the talent, you throw money to the corpo. So that's why my previous best bet is, if you want to support your favorite liver, do it on their PLs. That's my take. But anyway, let's go. These arguments ignore the fact that all parties involved are adults who signed a contract dealing what activity rules must be followed, including vigorous copyright checks, permissions, hosting events, posting covers, original songs, and playing new games. Look like explicitly stated, when people shit talk the company we work for, I don't like that, okay, blah blah blah. I signed a contract that dictates everything I'm supposed to do. I can't be mad at that, I signed it, that's all I have to say about it. Clearly, there are more restrictions on corporate livers than independent VTubers. Thus, being in such a company is not for everybody. Being part of a Japanese VTuber agency means you represent a corporation, not just yourself. You are not an independent streamer. Your actions reflect on the company as a whole and thus affect the other livers. Notably, many criticisms directed towards NIJISANJI are symptomatic. Oh, this is what she was trying to say earlier. Symptomatic of how other major Japanese VTubing corporations function, such as Hololive. I already added an adjustment to this. I already added my piece. So this is kind of weak. In by of itself, it's the argument on of itself that it's symptomatic to how other corporations are used, but don't use Hololive. Hololive is far from being like compared to NIJISANJI. In another instance, an apology was previously issued also. Okay, wait, I already read that. Other EN livers who got as much as they could from being in NIJISANJI or wanted to pursue less restrictive creative avenues choose to end their contracts and graduate amicably. For example, Nina Kosaka, Mr. Rias, Pomu Rainpuff, and Kyo Kaneko. Zion Lanza is often used as a gotcha when it comes to NIJISANJI without taking into account the detailed statement of active rule breaking within the short couple of months she was active, published upon her termination. Activity rules, huh? Okay, let's break this down. So, in part, I agree with the whole contract thing. I think that people should have half the responsibility when they sign a contract. If they sign a contract that's bad, half of the blame is on them. But half of that blame is on the company. Because NIJISANJI has, in multiple instances, like what happened to Zion, Pomu, Lexium, among many other things, have that rule enforcement be quite inconsistent. Their rule enforcement can be quite selective. This ties back to the whole favoritism issue, because activity rules can really only be trusted when the activity rules is equally enforced. If it's not equally enforced, again, like what happened to a lot of the other livers, like what happened to Hex Haywire and a few other people, like what has happened to Luxium, again, for example, then this part of the argument does not apply. You know? This does not apply. And is Zion used by people to disprove the whole rule-breaking thing? Because I don't think I have seen that. But then again, I'm inclined to believe that there are people out there that can be like irrationally angry and say that this is a gotcha for Zion. But the thing is, the subject for hate for most people when it came to the Zion thing was how she was treated and exiled out of the company, because it showed that management was venomous and unprofessional. The actual gotcha, contrary to what Mr. OP, what the OP is trying to say here, was when she released the Zion document. The Zion document is the actual gotcha, because it revealed a lot of messed up things that happened during her time. I, as well as many other people behind the scenes, acknowledge the fact that Zion was difficult to work with. I've said that in my previous stream covering the Zion thing as well. I can admit and I can fully believe that Zion was difficult to work with, as well as Selen in this case. In fact, Zion admitted as much in her document. So I think this whole thing here does not really make sense. Yeah. So far, chat, so far I'm getting the impression that the document is only targeting the radical and the most insane parts of the Nijisanji hate train. Which I guess is the intention of the document because there is still genuine actual criticisms that need to be dished out. And, you know, of course, I will be more than happy to clarify for the doc maker if you're not one of those people out there going out of their way to harass other livers and blindly parrot or shout out the most extreme things or reach the most insane conclusions, this document is not for you. Again, this document seems to be only targeting like the extreme parts of the fan base. I think that's what they're targeting here. So if you're not part of those people, this is not for you, like I said. Anyway, Salen's no profit claim. NIJIEN livers have gone on record time and time again expressing gratitude for the opportunities. Okay, yeah, this is also what I said earlier. I generally agree with this. I said before, Nijisanji, of course that Nijisanji was going to be like a profitable venture for anybody that comes there. Again, the actual thing that's wrong here is the 2% and like the abysmal percentage rates that they get. You know? Yeah. Covers and projects are expensive. Many other livers release. Okay. Yeah, we already debunked this or addressed this. Should the company in the future contribute? For big events, this seems reasonable. What do you mean? This seems reasonable? Yes. Your answer should be a yes. Should the company in the future contribute? This should be events. This should be a yes for big events. This should not be a half-assed, this seems reasonable. Many Nijisanji fans have been critical of management regarding the need for more branch-wide projects, reinvesting into NIJIEN. These points are valid, but these do not suggest that Selen has been fairly untargeted or had money withheld from her. As things are, the company does not owe her reimbursement. These are personal projects that come from the livers' own pockets, which again, I also do agree. These are personal projects, so Selen should have paid for them. Again, the whole problem there is the fact that NIJIEN didn't even support their shit. Yeah, so I generally agree with the sentiment, but her wording there and the things that she's using to enforce her points are really they're wrong. Yeah. Again, there is plenty of room for NIJIEN to improve its management, priorities, funding distribution, permissions, processes, etc. Of course, contrary to repeated claims, most Niji fans are not corporate bootlickers. They support the livers first and foremost. Now, here's the thing, chat. A lot of you guys may disagree with this, especially because a lot of people in the comment section, or not in the comment section, but in Twitter, have honed in on this. But I actually agree. Most Nijisanji fans are not corporate bootlickers. They are lurkers that just wants to be in a comfortable environment. The people that you see on Twitter, they are the ones that are corporate bootlickers. But the thing is, they are the minority. They are the vocal minority. So yes, I agree. I kinda agree. I don't know if you disagree with me, chat, but I agree with this statement. They support the livers first and foremost, not the agency. They just want to have fun. I agree with that take. But there is a difference between well-meaning criticism directed at the company and the barrage of hatred and bad faith takes that has flooded the livers' social media, live stream chats, hashtags, often based on pure misinformation and tin hat speculation. Many of these people were never... Okay. Many of these people were never fans of Selen in the first place. There is a difference between criticizing Nijisanji because you support Selen versus capitulating... Okay, no. No. Here, brother, I disagree with this. There's a reason why Nijisanji has lost a shit ton of subscribers in the first place. For one, to subscribe to talents means they have to be fans of the talents. Okay? There's a reason why Selen has gained, why Nijisanji, Livers, and EN has lost so many subscribers and why Selen has gained so many. You know why? Because a lot of them were Dragoons. Dragoons were the ones that initiated and popularized and mostly participated in the Where is Selen hashtag. Selen's mods, Dragoons, were the ones that initiated and organized the revolt. What do you mean that Many of these were never. Okay, well, technically, if you are trying to insinuate that a lot of them are, like maybe 40-30% are, then I agree with you. But but no. No. I can agree on one subject that's related to this take. That the people consuming the drama are those that actually may have never supported Selen and NIJISANJI in the first place. So like the normies, the Hololive fans, the people that were never NIJISANJI fans to begin with, I can agree that they were the ones that are eating the drama, consuming the drama. But to say that the people participating in all of this are not even fans of Selen in the first place is, I think, at best intellectually dishonest, and at most like corporate like bootlicking. At most and at best, you're probably the OP may be in the middle ground, but that's my take. I think it's bad faith, yeah, to say this. NIJISANJI PR leaves much to be desired, and have been fighting an uphill battle as drama YouTubers pounce on the situation to misinform hundreds and thousands of people, even millions of people unfamiliar with VTubers, which are already prejudiced against NIJISANJI. These people are not simply supporting Selen, they are accusing her ex-worker. If you are referring to me, if you are referring to Foss, if you are referring to Kyo, this is a bad faith take. Okay? This is a bad faith take. You know why? NIJISANJI did that to themselves. The fucking official NIJISANJI termination implicated themselves. Selen only mentioned bullying. She never mentioned who because she didn't want to hurt anyone. NIJISANJI was the one that self-reported. So anybody that is still like, you know, anybody that still doesn't understand that fact, please burn that in your head. Nobody is accusing her ex-workers of being irredeemable bullies who actually caused her suicide attempt. Of course, there may be some, but the initial impressions did not have this sentiment. It got out of whack. It went all cattywampus because they implicated themselves. The goal seems to be to force them to stop streaming or to graduate and end their careers or to get out before it's too late. Generally speaking, yes, that's what a lot of people seems to want to reach. This all leads back to the original claim that NIJIEN is an evil black company, which... Hello? Okay, never mind. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Did the NIJISANJI assassins get me? Okay, I'm back. Where did I stop? I'm just going to read through this part. Anyway, this all leads back to the original claim that NIJIEN is a black evil company which works their livers in slave-like conditions, has hated Selen since day one, and could come for your favorite livers next. Occam's razors could suggest that yes, this simplistic narrative is true. The big bad company is versus just Selen. Also, try to consider the situation from the side of NIJISANJI. Yes, please run with me. Okay, so I'm going to run with her. Okay, we're going to be open-minded about this chat. We're not going to take them at face value though. Unlike what Vox said. Holy shit, that Vox statement was fucking terrible. But anyway. Selen has repeatedly tweeted out impulsively when her projects fall through, omitting key context. Okay, yeah, we already went through this. I like I said earlier, I can generally agree with this. So I think Selen did omit a lot of key context that made NIJISANJI look worse than it necessarily needed to be. But I don't like the idea that they're calling Selen a liar. You know? That's fucked up. Telling her fans to instead re-upload this... Wait, hold on. This culminated in her tweet following the privatization of her final song cover, which is misleading in that she fails to explain why management privated her song, which, again, I agree with this. Screenshot of miscommunication from Selen's manager on Ilira's channel see above showed that the cover was not permanently taken down, as implied. But instead, Selen failed to get the final approval before its upload on Christmas Day, and thus it would need to be private until these checks are finished. Telling her fans instead to re-upload this music video on their own song channels was likely an impulsive reaction to feeling frustrated and let down. But there were severe ramifications for what is allowed within a Japanese corporation that is heavily restrictive on anything that could lead to copyright infringement. No. Because there were no copyright infringement stuff to begin with. Again, Lily Pichu and the producer approved of the song. There were no copyright infringement. In fact, the manager over here says the audio is okay. Teehee? Restrictive? Arguably yes. But a known fact that every single liver who releases covers original songs, pretty much anything, has to abide to. This rigorous checking process is not even limited to NIJIEN, but also to other corpos. Many people have blamed the company for not checking in with Selen during the 1+ years she was working on this cover, or repetitively state that the song creator gave express permission for Selen to cover the song. This is not the problem. The screenshots show the manager saying the audio is okay for me. It is the final checks on the visuals, the music video, which needed additional time. Which is the visuals. The visuals. It's not the visuals. It's the fact that it's the fact that ex-NIJISANJI livers were there. So maybe specify this one. It's not the visuals, it's the fact that NIJIEN livers were there. Selen has contributed immensely to NIJISANJI EN. No one denies this, but her repeated behaviors and failure to change in this response to clear warnings from NIJISANJI over the last 2 years suggest that she is not suited for a corporate environment, which is likely contributed to her declining mental health. Okay. I can believe that. I can get behind the fact that she's not, that Selen is not suited for a corporate environment. But that doesn't make it any less true that NIJISANJI's corporate environment is absolutely dog shit. You keep stuttering. I'm tired. I'm running on alcohol and it's like super dry. My mouth is super dry. So yeah, that's why I keep stuttering. Please forgive me. Yeah. She demanded that any caller should be legally responsible. She claims that she was being harassed by other affiliated livers due to mismanagement. She did not claim this. Why are we putting words in Selen's mouth? She did not claim this. NIJISANJI EN self-reported. Selen only claimed that she was bullied in the company. That could have been understood as it being bullied by the management, but not by other livers. Don't put words in her mouth. Please, anybody that is still trying to rationalize or defend NIJISANJI, I am willing to engage in a thoughtful, critical, and civilized discussion. But I feel like some points have to be hammered home here, okay? Some points have to be hammered home. Again, the fact that NIJISANJI implicated themselves. Selen didn't do jack shit. Selen states that her lawyer... Selen states that her lawyer sent this document to Anycolor just before her termination. According to Dokibird's Twitter, during my darkest time mentally, and the document as it was written wasn't going to be released anywhere. NIJISANJI EN and some of its livers state that this document contained harmful false information and personal information and non-consensual audio recording of a conversation between Selen and Vox Akuma intended to prove favoritism within the company, which Selen admits was included but claims it was just a distribution test, whereas Vox sees it as a breach of trust. It's plausible that this document was interpreted as a threat, confirmed Selen's breakage of activity rules, or something else entirely. Whatever the case, this seems to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Look at this. It's plausible that this document was interpreted as a threat, confirmed by Selen's breakage of activity rules, or something else entirely. Of course it was a threat. To any caller, not to livers. Because Selen wanted NIJISANJI to be responsible. And it's a private document, a legal document made from Selen's frustrations, tears, and all her personal feelings, as well as other negative experiences that she has with the company. It contains not just the other livers' personal information, it contains Selen's personal information as well. So, biting your bullet here, why would Selen threaten with the why would Selen actually release or threaten the people to release a private legal document that contains her personal information as well? Why would she do that? She won't. Because again, it's a private legal document. If you watched Illyra's Blackout stream, Illyra states that they thought there was potential of this document going out there. They were just paranoid that it was gonna happen. Selen did not threaten them that it was gonna get out there. They were just afraid that it was gonna happen. And presuming, presuming, let's be generous here, presuming that the document has false information, that's going to be up to the lawyers to ascertain, not the livers. Fact of the matter is, even if there is even if there was false information in there, the document was never going to be public in the first place. That Vox recording was not going to be public in the first place. Again, any NIJIEN defender and people that wants to engage in a discussion has to address the fact that NIJIEN members have seen the private legal documents that they were not supposed to see. And even though we can debate all we want on whether or not there's let's say it's morally questionable that Selen recorded Vox Akuma without his consent, we can debate that fact all we like, okay? But it's legal in Canada. And in Canada, we can also assume that because it's legal in Canada, Doki's moral standing in that matter could also be different. So let's keep that in mind. Yeah. People who believe any color is truly an evil company will easily write off the termination statement as full of lies. No! Nobody is saying that the statement was full of lies. The statement was full of bullshit. Not bullshit as in lies, but bullshit as in this looks very bad on your part and you guys fucked up. Nobody thought that this were all lies. At least no one that I've seen, nobody that I've talked to. But I implore you to reread it from a more neutral point of view. While NIJISANJI EN clearly lacks in the PR department, at the base level, the statement 1 denies the bullying claims, 2 says that Selen was not terminated immediately, but given the chance to stay with the company for as long as she admits she broke the rules and corrects her final tweet. 3 clearly outlines which of Selen's actions has led to her termination, and 4 states that legal action was initiated by Selen. Selen, in turn, as Doki Bird, states that she will not be silenced anymore and that she was hospitalized for an attempt that was caused by a build-up of bullying within and out and being in a toxic and poor environment. Okay, let's address these. Denies the bullying claims. While NIJIEN clearly lacks in the PR department, at base level, the statement 1 denies the bullying claims. First off, Vox Akuma, in his personal opinion, says that, again, Vox Akuma says that in his personal opinion, that in their opinion, it wasn't harassment or bullying. Okay? That may be a denial of bullying, but when you put in the phrase, I don't think it's bullying, that muddies the water. I could say or do all sorts of things to someone and not think it was bullying. And the reason why I can't trust Vox's words there is because he claims that he tried to insinuate that there was no favoritism in NIJISANJI. Like what? How can I trust Vox for whatever? How can I trust Vox in at his face value, like what he asked for, when the next word that came out of his mouth was an outright lie? How can I trust Vox there? When already in the back of my mind can't even trust him, or can't he said a lie afterwards. There's already seeds of doubt planted in my mind because of that. Says that Selen was not terminated immediately, but given the chance to stay with the company for as long as she admits she broke the rules or corrects her final tweet. Selene did not want to be in the company anymore. But yeah, she did not want to be in the company anymore. Okay? So, yeah. I don't know what this was supposed to say, but I guess it was trying to like address the base levels of the statement. Clearly outlines which of Selene's actions led to her termination. 4 states that legal action was initiated by Selene. This termination did not state that Selene actually initiated legal action. They said that management was sent a legal document because she wanted to hold any color to be held legally responsible. Keyword there is wanted. She spoke up about it, didn't go through with it. It's not like a mutually exclusive thing, in my understanding. Correct me on that, chat, or anybody that wants to engage on me with this, correct me on that. But that's my personal interpretation. Because when I did read the document, I didn't even get the impression that she was trying to sue. Or, like, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to read. No, you are correct. Yep. Does anybody want to say that I'm wrong? Because I want to see if I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, please do let me know. She didn't get a lawyer. Didn't she get a lawyer to leave? I mean, yeah, she wanted to leave because she wanted like she wanted to leave. She wanted any color to be responsible. Yeah. Doesn't necessarily mean that there was gonna be a lawsuit. You know? Or is again, have you seen the miscommunication rat in the NIJISANJI subreddit? It seems rather rational and it fits the facts as far as I'm aware. I work in the comms for a living. Okay, peak audio. I'm going to go through that because I did actually read that earlier. Thank you. We're going to read that. In fact, let me just pull it out on my other tab right now, just so I don't forget about it. Hold on. Break. Again, chat. I want to know. I want to know if I'm wrong there. Fuck. Can someone link it to me? Kyo, Rima, if you're watching this, please link it to me on Discord right now. I can't be bothered to find it or else I'd ruin the flow. Thank you. Or anybody for that matter. Someone DM me on Twitter or something. I don't know. Email me. Just so I don't forget it. Anyway. The original statement from NIJI claimed that Selene threatened to public if they didn't take responsibility. I personally don't believe that, but hey. Oh, we're going to go through that. Here's the thing. The original... Okay, 4 and Swarm. The original statement that... let's actually go through that. Actually, you know what? Yeah. The original statement said that that Selene was gonna go out in public with her experiences and what she went through with the company. It did not state, Selene did not state that she was gonna make the document come out. Selene wasn't going to go out there and like fucking put that out there for the world to see. So while Selene may have threatened to release her experiences to the world, that threat did not involve the document. Because again, it contained a lot of personal information. Hold on. Let's go. Let's proceed with this. I'm going to find that later, chat. Is NIJISANJI EN really full of bullies? What I find difficult to understand is that if Selene has definitive proof of months of bullying from management and co-workers, why NIJIEN is so adamant in denying these claims even after internal investigation? They did not do internal investigation. I have seen many comments claiming any color is breaching NDA, that Selene can clearly sue them as a result, and so on. But this is a major corporation that has lawyered up in response to Selene's termination threats and quite frankly knows the law. You really, OP, you really like to believe like the best in any color. For some context, they lost the fucking Narukami Sabaki case, my guy. I'm not entirely sure if they're good as you think they are. And look, you know what the best reason is that Selene's not deciding to sue them? Because Anycolor, the billion-dollar company, has more money and can just put this on hold for so long until Selen is bled dry and she won't be able to fund it. That's what rich assholes do when they go on frivolous lawsuits, and the intention isn't to win, it's to bleed them money. Someone in chat say, if you think this is wrong, hold me accountable. If this is possible in Japanese or Canadian court, I'm pretty confident that they do, but I'm not a master of the law. I just see this shit happening all the time. Like, a lot of litigation lawyers have these delay tactics to make sure that the plaintiff is getting wrung out for all they are worth until it gets to a point that it's no longer plausible to pursue. But if we disregard the legal element here, what if the other reason that Selen is not suing is because she's just that nice of a person? I mean, the fact that she refused to name the people who bullied her in her original tweet, and that she wanted to graduate on amicable terms just so she doesn't put the friends that she had in that company in danger, the innocent people in danger, tells me enough about her character. Sure, she may have some things that many people deem questionable. Again, like the voice recorded Vox thing, but to her, who lives in Canada, which has a one-party consent law, that may not be so questionable as it is a legal right. Because if Selen really wanted to fuck everybody in the ass right now, she would have named them. She would have named and shamed them. She has always, all Selen has done is she has always done nothing but respond. NIJIEN were the ones that initiated all this fucking public shit flinging. Yeah. A major claim circulating online is that management forced these to support the statement that these livers are puppets to the corporation who were forced at gunpoint to betray Selen in a last-ditch effort to rebuild NIJISANJI's public image. Yeah, this is bullshit too, by the way. I mean, I agree with the OP. Yeah, this was bullshit. A lot of people like to believe that the people in Anycolor, the people in the GEN, are like puppeted by a lot of people, by my management, that they're forced. But I don't believe that. I think that's bullshit. I think I truly do think that's bullshit. Yeah. Once again, the livers are infantilized, deemed powerless in the clutches of a big bad evil company, or alternatively, manipulated by Anycolor into hating Selen with cherry-picked information from these documents. This I actually believe. This is deemed as the charitable interpretation, because otherwise, they may be terrible people who betrayed Selen for a quick buck. No. The charitable interpretation is because otherwise, they're fucking snakes who betrayed Selen not for a quick buck, but because they suck up to NIJIEN that much. Because they would rather throw Selen under the bus. But I do believe this is the case. Again, it's a personal rat. Whether or not it's true or not, it will be up to the future to decide. Again, chat. Selen did not have to prove anything, because she was not the one that asserted anything to begin with. Let me repeat this. This is the fourth time I think I've said this in the stream. NIJIEN self-reported. They literally exposed themselves when Selen didn't even want to. This is not Selen's responsibility, and this is not on her conscience either. The fact that I think it's unfortunate, and I heavily do not want people to harass other the livers and all that kind of shit. But that is not Selen's responsibility. The most responsibility that she can have there is to tell people to stop harassment. But aside from that, nope, not her fault. It's not her fault. Yeah. And I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. Hating Selen with cherry-picked information. Wait, okay, never mind. I'm going to get into that later. In reality, they are all adults, and they have been repeatedly able to express their own disapproval of company actions, which is true. A lot of livers have actually shat on the company before. and solidarity with ex-livers on Twitter and in their streams. It seems incredibly disingenuous to reduce their statements in this way. In the face of the documents they claim contain falsities, doxable information, and audio recordings, yes, these statements were read from a script, as they said in the beginning in the stream that they ran through what they wanted to say past the lawyers to first ensure there were no legal trouble. Yeah, no, these are 100%. It's a script. It was scripted. I actually do have seen a lot of people say that, oh my god, this is scripted. Go fuck yourselves. But brother, of course it's fucking scripted. It's ran through a lawyer. It has to be scripted. They have their general sentiments and the things they wanted to say, but the technicality, the stuff that they do say, it was all first approved by a lawyer. So, yeah. These three livers, Illyra in particular, have been swamped with intense hate and harassment as a result. Was it smart for any color to allow these livers was it smart for any color to allow these livers to make a statement on Illyra's channel? Debatable? Again, I'm stuttering because of this. It should not be debatable. It should be wrong. Let's not be intellectually dishonest here, okay? But perhaps they also did not want to be silenced. The entire NIJIEN branch has been deemed harassers that perpetuate a toxic work environment that need to be put in their place. If these allegations are not what Selen made them out to be, this was their chance to share their views on a matter that is directly affecting their ability of the livers to continue their jobs. Bear in mind, Ike and Vox were their closest friends within the company prior to this. Okay, I'm going to drink real quick. I'm going to try and address this. Keyword there is try, but hear me out. The reason why this is not debatable is because objectively, it was the wrong move. Regardless, if they wanted people to hear them out, if they did not want to be silenced, they could have done it in ways that was not like this. They should have thought this through. Because objectively speaking, this was a short-sighted statement. The black screen stream, it was a short-sighted statement. It was fucking scripted, but they should have let that script cook a little bit more in the oven. Alternative directions in the script should have involved a lot more sympathy for Selen, but also like asking people to be a bit more open-minded. Why things had to end the way they were. And at all costs, not mention any semblances of the legal document getting shared among the members, trying to imply that there was no favoritism, addressing the bullying allegations. They should have tried to do that, but not in that way, you know? It was too raw. Yeah, the script was too raw. The script was just too raw. And they should have done that not in Illyra's channel. It's not debatable. It should have been on the official channel. Oh my god. Yet following the detailed responses from both, there were no detailed response. Let's not lie to ourselves. Selen appears to be taken aback by the fact that the livers have found out about the legal documents. She wants to move on and back out of legal involvement. She never wanted to be involved legally. What do you mean? She wanted responsibility from any color. Whether that be through reimbursement, whether that be whatever they decided those terms were in that, what they originally talked about. There was no evidence nor implications that Selen intended to sue. That Doki Bird wanted to fucking go on a legal battle against them. Literally nothing. Selen said, please don't make it like high school, treats everyone like adults with some empathy and kindness, and that she will not release receipts or private documents. The problem is that it has come to a point where people are now using her name and her cause to both infantilize and demean livers. Sorry, again, that's not Selen's responsibility. That's NIJISANJI's fault for being dumb in their statements, while spamming their tags and chats with hatred, conspiracy theories, and doxing photos. Okay, now this I don't approve of. If there are truly individuals in the company that harass her, all of these innocent people are suffering because A, is she trying to blame Selen? If there are truly individuals in the company that harassed her, all of the innocent people are suffering because A, no clarification on the bullying claim has been provided, and B, arguably Salen went on multiple days of silence on this exact matter because before throwing out a single "don't harass anyone" in her return stream. First of all, she said multiple times to not harass anybody, not just on stream but also on public. But why is this so dishonest? If there were truly any individuals in that company that harassed her, all of the innocents are suffering because A, no clarification on the bullying claim has been provided, and B, this one. Salen did not want anyone, any innocent liver to be involved. Only the management. Okay? The reason why the innocents are getting affected is because NIJISANJI self-reported. They self-reported. Is that hard to understand? It's just plain wrong. Let me point some contradictions based off the statements given by both parties. Salen wants to move on but has stated that she was the initial party to hire lawyers and threatened to go public with claims backed by her legal document. She now claims this document would never go public. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. She was going to go public, but not with the documents. Just a statement backed by those documents. Okay. Yeah. But the document itself will never go public. Yeah, because it was never intended to be public. What do you mean she now claims? Adding this phrase makes it sound like she's like chickening, like scurrying away. Salen claims Vox voice recording was not malicious and instead included. How then did a random recording from over a year ago appear in a legal document sent to Anycolor? Why did she, neither her nor lawyers, notice it? If it was an accident, how does Vox know of its general content and reasoning for inclusion? Because Vox read the document that he was not supposed to see. And the document and that voice recording was never going to be public anyway. Wait, so what's she trying to imply here? Again, I'm trying to find a logic. I'm trying to find the logic in her statement. Okay, in this document. It was not okay. Salen, by her own admission, got too heated in the moment and sent messages to her manager so extreme that her friends have questioned her decisions. Source here. I can believe this. I actually saw a clip somewhere a long time ago. I bring this up because at first she claims to be completely innocent. Salen never claimed to be innocent. A victim of mismanagement, yet once NIJIEN releases screenshots of conversation with her manager that disprove her claims about the music video, she backs down. People have criticized NIJISANJI's screenshots for not containing Salen's replies, so why does Salen not bring forth proof of her mistreatments once and for... How do I want to Salen never claimed that she was fully innocent. So don't put words in Salen's mouth. The general fan base painted her as the one that's innocent. But Salen never did. Okay? Salen never claimed that she was innocent. I also agree, by the way, just though it's out there, I agree that she was difficult to work with behind the scenes. I agree that Salen does not fit in a corpo life, but again, I still agree that NIJIEN is a shitty corpo. And again, lastly, Salen never insinuated that she was bullied by other livers. The company did that to itself. She doesn't have the obligation to. And why Salen doesn't bring the proof of her maltreatment is because the proof is in that document. Releasing the proof of that would mean releasing the document, which again contains personal information, so it would actually damn them if Salen put this out there. The proof is not for us. It's for the lawyers and the management's eyes. Salen made the right call to not make it public because it would turn everything into a shit flinging and make it a legally bad case to cover. Because not only would that cause a lot of further unnecessary damage to both parties, it might make the case a shitty one to go through. Why are people still asking for proof that Selen was bullied? I just don't get it. Okay, let's bite the bullet here. Let's bite the bullet. Let's say Selen is let's say Selen does not. Let's say actually, you know what? Yeah, let's say Selen does not actually have the information or has proof. This is a girl that tried to off herself twice. They have, and what they want is her medical records. And to, okay, and again, sorry. And to prove that she was being bullied, they'd have to sift through all of her other stuff. Her medical records, screenshots of her abuse, written or verbal accounts of everything that happened to her in the company, all the trauma that just was out there for people like me. All the trauma. Sorry, let me rephrase that. All that trauma. These people are asking for Selen's trauma to be out there for people like me, you, and other people to analyze and look under a microscope. Do you realize how cruel that is? Again, and I want to rephrase this because this is the most important part. Selen never mentioned a liver. She just said that there was bullying that that was alleged by management, by so many people. Nobody would have blamed livers because there was no prior proof or prior indications that other people bullied the livers. Behind the scenes, there could be. But Selen, it's not Selen's responsibility. Dian is so mad. I'm not mad. I'm frustrated. Because I thought that this was... I was willing to go over this and be open-minded. But all of this is just so dishonest. Like, intellectually and emotionally dishonest. It disregards a lot of the things that we already know. Oh shit, no. Go back. In fact, you know what? Let's actually play with that logic. Why does Selen not bring forth of her mistreatment once and for all? Let's use that line of logic for any color and like everybody in NIJIEN. NIJIEN claims that the document has false information in her document, right? Okay. So NIJIEN, show the document then. Tell us that it's false. Vox claimed that there is no favoritism. Okay, give us proof that there's no favoritism. There is a lot of speculation that Elira and her clique is running the company. Okay, show us proof that Elira doesn't have a clique and there is not a de facto management. Do you know the reason why they don't have to do that? Because they're not responsible to. They don't have to. They're not in the capacity, nor are they do they have the right or the obligation to. Do you understand that? Like, do you see how that just doesn't make sense at all? This information, it's not supposed to be for us. It just got out there because NIJIEN self-reported. If you want Selen to show proof of her mistreatment, then NIJIEN also has to show proof of everything that has come out so far to make sure that they're all not true. That's the line of logic that you're running with here. Do you understand? Do you understand? Chat, do you agree with that? Or am I... correct me if I'm wrong there. Like, spank me on the ass. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Am I wrong? By using that line of logic. Can't prove a negative? Exactly. That's part of it. Can't prove a negative. Can't prove a negative. That's part of it. Yeah, sure. But there's a double standard here that she's not seeing. For someone who is alleged to have damning evidence of harassment, toxic work environment, it's strange that Selen suddenly brings up difficulties in translation of legal document, multiple lawyers and complications in communication, walking back from her initial stance of I will not be silenced, and shifting the blame to potential miscommunication errors. What? All of the communication was done between lawyers in Japanese. That doesn't have... Wait, what? You're reaching here. Okay, sorry, brother. You're reaching here. That doesn't have to do with anything with potential miscommunication errors. She can have receipts and evidence, but communication problems especially when different countries are involved with different laws and different values and different systems are involved, it gets complicated. Yeah, Selen is 100% right. Of course it gets complicated. I don't know if the doc authors know how difficult cross-country legal shenanigans are, but if they don't, well, I hope they do now. I hope they do now. Oh my god, again, thanks for the fat super chats. I will read that later when I'm done with this. Selen makes the speculative statement in response to Elera's video message, "It makes me wonder if my medical and hospital records was also released without my consent," before clarifying an hour and later, "And thankfully only my diagnosis and reason for hospital stay was reported without further info being disclosed. In this time, people took it as a fact that NIJISANJI was breaching NDA and was liable to be sued for leaking health documents and further cemented their black company claims. This speculation, then backtracking, no matter the intention, is a consistent behavior from Selen." Selen is not backtracking. Okay. Let's be open-minded here. Let's consider two possibilities. That one, she's backtracking, or two, she learned that there was no, like, any other private information that was released after all. Both can exist. Both can exist. And the reason why I think that private info was disclosed is because Vox self-reported again. The reason, here's the statement that seems to evade this person. In this time, people took it a fact that any caller was breaching NDA and was liable to be sued for leaking health documents. This was because of Vox. It was not because of this statement, it was because of Vox. Because Vox said that he reviewed the document thoroughly. Do we understand that? Selen's response focuses heavily on how she feels. "I made the document thinking it will never go public. The recording was not intended to be other than a distribution test. And above all else, she thought that that was the last time I will hear or think about the document. That this, personally and my own opinion, was the end of the lawyer's involvement. Unfortunately, whatever she feels about the situation, it appears to have spiraled out of her control, and considering the immense slander and defamation that any caller and the livers have experienced as a result, it makes sense that they would follow up on the legal action that Selen started." Selen, there was no proof that Selen started a legal action. They reacted. It was a knee-jerk reaction. They got scared that this document contained information and wanted to, like, fucking fuck Selen over for it. And again, the situation spiraling out of control is not Selen's fault or responsibility. It is any caller's fault for self-reporting. Self-reporting, please bear that in mind. Fuck, I'm actually genuinely tired. I'm like kind of tired, and like my voice is getting hoarse, my throat is getting dry, I'm getting sleepy, but still gonna have to go through this. I'm gonna use all your super chats to buy stronger coffee, I swear to God. Likewise, Selen plays heavily on emotions in her recent streams, such as "I am not perfect, I have faults, I have to watch my dad cry and break down in front of me," using the emotional reaction of her family members to shield herself from the blame in a situation which is increasing complicated, seems manipulative, and deviates from the heavily fact and evidence-based statements from other parties. There are no heavily fact and evidence-based statements from the other parties. All they got was a fucking screenshot. That's it. What do you mean? Did we read the same thing? Okay, but generally speaking, I agree with this first statement. Whenever an apology or a statement has to be made, I think that you should not put a lot of unnecessary and emotional elements to it. But the second statement is a reach. Oh my god. Throughout all of Selen's recent statements since the NIJIEN Liver spoke up against her and any caller released additional statements, her stance on the situation has weakened. What do you mean weakened? Oh, wait, you mean that she's chickening out? That she's backing out? Whatever happens, many of these livers most affected were her co-workers were for over 2 years. Selen's Last Cup of Coffee music video, costing 15,000 bucks according to her, seems partially dedicated to her fan base, but also much of a love song to her times in NIJISANJI, which is true. Same way her birthday concert involved many NIJISANJI livers dancing and singing with her. It is hard to reconcile these projects that came out of the day before her attempt with the months of harassment she claims to have experienced from this. Oh my god! This is stoned. This is so bad. Wait! Question. Maybe to the doc OP or to everybody in the chat. Have you been near a suicide or bully victim? Do you have friends that are survivors of abusive households? Do you know any abused victims in relationships? Do you know anybody trapped in a negative situation but still don't want to leave? Because this is common. You know what? In fact, you know what? I was gonna go through like an entire, like multiple cases that are, but I don't wanna make chat uncomfortable, so I'm not gonna delve a little too deep because the last time I tried to talk about like unaliving stuff in stream, especially around Alan, a lot of people got uncomfortable, so I'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? Read behind the lines if you don't. This is basically saying, because what this says is basically saying, oh, but if Selen is seemingly so happy in NIJISANJI, then it's inconsistent that she wanted to off herself even despite in that happy relationship. It doesn't make sense. That's what she's trying to say. That's what she's trying to accuse her of. That sounds so tone deaf. That sounds like someone doesn't know or know anyone or doesn't know what it's like to be in a relationship like this or in an environment like this. Fuck, I'm very tempted, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want this stream to get demonetized or for a lot of people. How many people are in chat right now? There's 8K people. I don't want 8K people to get uncomfortable, so let's move on. Perhaps you think I'm too hard on her. I have long appreciated Selen. Okay, yes, Doc Author, I think you're assuming the worst from Selen. I think that you're assuming the worst from Selen and the best from the livers and the company. Do I blame you? No, absolutely not. Here's the nuance that I'm going to offer you, chat. I don't blame the author for having these stances. In fact, I don't blame any of the NIJIEN fans for having a similar stance or thinking that this was a good document. See, chat, look. You have to imagine, right? You have to put yourself in their shoes. Imagine what it feels like to have your comfort space be bombarded like this. The disturbing things that you saw, the hurting the doc author is feeling. I get it. It feels like the world is against them. It would feel like the world is against me. They're being cornered. The safe space that they used to have is being taken away from them. Twitter is becoming a cesspit. You know what that kind of shit normally does to a person, chat? It radicalizes people. Because when you feel like the world is against you, when you feel like you're unaccepted everybody else aside from your own group, you become vindictive. It becomes us against the world. And I do not want that happening to anyone, even the person that is like, even the person that agrees and like is writing this shit. Because when that happens to anybody, it removes all semblances of nuance and common sense from people. They assume the worst out of the other party, become close-minded, and it becomes an echo chamber. It becomes generally forced positivity, toxic, and unhealthy. I don't want that happening to NIJIEN. I may be farming them, but there's a reason why I keep reminding you motherfuckers to keep what we talk about in my streams only in my channel. I keep talking to you guys to shut the fuck up and not mention me anywhere. Like, for example, when I was like reacting or was watching fucking RPR's statement on what he thought of NIJISANJI, a lot of you guys migrated and went out there to see that I'm here. I don't want you guys to do that. What we say in this stream on my chat remains on this stream and on my chat. To observe and be silent. We may meme, we may laugh, we may joke, we may shit. We may shit talk, I mean. We may criticize, we may praise, but we never interfere. That's the ultimate message I have for my usual chatters and fan base. Because if I go that far on the other end, we ultimately make things worse for everybody. I believe in criticism. I believe in criticism in both the constructive sense and the shitposting sense. But I never believe in harassment and bullying, and I'm glad at the very least that the doc author is aware that her views may be skewed. At least she has a little bit of self-awareness. He or she, sorry, they have a little bit of self-awareness, which is good, because I also am aware that my views may be skewed too. That's why discussions like these are important, and it's why important key notes have to be like addressed before any proper discussions go any further. I don't know how a lot of you guys are not my regulars. My regulars are only like what, 800, 1,000 people. So a lot of you guys may not know the rules of this channel. But if you want to call yourself, like, let's say a Nusagi, a depressed Nusagi listener or something, then follow my decree. Or well, that sounds so fucking cringe, but follow my creed. Sure, my creed. Oh my god, that's so chuny, but I'm gonna run with it because I'm a chuny. To observe and be silent. We never interfere. Yeah, that sounds badass and chuny and cringe as fuck. But you know what? We're embracing it. We're embracing it. That's ultimately the message I have for you guys. For you, anyway. Perhaps I have been too hard on her. I have long appreciated Selen's contribution to NIJISANJI, but in the face of immense scrutiny placed upon the NIJIEN livers now who have been harassed constantly over the past 2 weeks, had their word picked apart for the disgusting and misogynistic arts depicting livers in abusive situations, and even borderline revenge porn arts designed to humiliate and objectify livers to speak up, thousands of people flocking into stream and waiting rooms on little basis to either call a liver based for standing up to Niji or to slaughter them when they don't. These are intense and ongoing, well-documented examples of harassments designed only to destroy the lives of people who remain in the company. I agree with this. Don't do this. And again, the reason I can sympathize with the reason why the doc author is starting to have these thoughts is because she sees this shit on a daily basis. Her comfy world has fell apart. And I imagine, don't even try to act that you're the better man here, chat. If this happens to Hololive, or if this happens to like the spaces that you're comfortable with, Face Connect, V Shoujo, fucking Idol, wherever, you would probably act the same. Do you agree? Do you agree that you're going to act the same? Because I 100% think you will. Actually, you know what? Just so I can understand chat a little better, I'm going to make a poll. Fuck, why is everything so lag? Would you act the same? Yes or no? Again, chat, I'm still going to think that a lot of you guys are probably gonna think that you won't, but 100% I think you will. I just want to know how many people in chat genuinely think. Because generally speaking, I can sympathize with her. She may have said a lot of L takes, but I can understand why she's made those, those rationales. Anyway, what is the truth? The involved NIJIEN parties will never. Only Selen and the involved NIJIEN parties will ever fully know the sequence of events that led to this point. Please view these statements alongside the previous paragraphs and come to your own conclusions with the knowledge you may already have of the situation, which I did, and I think that it's not good. Selens and NIJIEN have long clashed in their approach to getting things done. I agree. Selen appears to be taking into her own hands and skip over bureaucracy. I agree. This is the one massive criticism that I have for Selen, and I feel like a lot of other people have for Selen as well. According to Elira, Yeah, the document. They reached out to Selen to try to understand the situation and try to talk about the cover. This event was directly referenced by Selen's lawyers as an example of harassment. Did they? Did they? This event was directly referenced by Selen's lawyer as an example of harassment. Where? They need to source this. I did not see this, and I don't believe it until I see it. I don't think so. I don't think Selen's lawyer ever said anything about this. I'm looking at chat right now. Even chat is small. Chat is fast. I mean, holy shit. Vox believed that he was manipulated by Selen's partial truths, omitted context, and blatant lies into a state of anger against the company to an extent he considered graduating with her. Vox did say this, yes. Any caller did not terminate Selen as a result of her attempt, yes, or even the initial response to her cover being privated. Instead, they claim Selen refused to take responsibility for breaching the activity rules, which has allowed her to stay with the company, and instead which would have allowed her to stay with the company, and instead demanded that any caller should be held legally responsible. Now, Selen says that she never intended to take legal action or have legal documents be seen by anyone but her lawyer. This is true. By itself, this is true. Selen blames any caller and other NIJIEN livers for preventing her continued streaming, as well as perpetuating a toxic environment where she was the victim. Despite allegedly being given multiple opportunities to graduate amicably prior to this final build-up, and even telling other livers that she was planning to graduate several times prior, she has repeatedly changed her mind and continued to work in this environment, which is true. This, I actually have to take the L for Selen. I don't know why she was changing her mind a lot of times, but regardless of the reasons, I think it kind of makes her look bad. Selen has spoken very negatively of her home situation since in a deleted tweet longer, which states deep financial, physical, mental pressures. I bring this up because she reversed her family's reaction in her most recent statement. It adds another layer of mental stress to the picture. Note is public knowledge, of course. In this tweet blogger, about how she can only in this tweet blogger, she talks about how the only thing that's keeping me going is streaming. Hold on, let me just get some water. Because she loves her fans. I mean, that's a great rationale, honestly. Staying in the GEN because you don't want to leave your fans. That's a very common thing in a lot of VTubers. In fact, that was what originally made a lot of wait, I can't name them anymore. Fuck, what's her name? It was like this one corpo VTuber that refused to graduate or did not want to graduate because the fans didn't want the fans would be sad. But she ultimately did. To make it clear, I do not believe Selen is lying about her suicide attempt nor being in the darkest point of her life after her termination. But I would argue that people hone in on this fact alone and actually refuse to listen to any of the statements made by the other parties and even Selen aside from this. I was deeply hesitant to include this point, but I hope you will understand why I am doing so. Hello, I'm someone that listened to the statements made by the other party, and I did point out some bad stuff that made Selen look bad and some bad stuff that made NIJIEN look bad. Overall, it made NIJISANJI look bad. So that's my take. Doki Bird has previously been public with her borderline personality disorder. Oh my god. You're losing me. This is not an attempt to diagnose Selen with BPD. You can find references. Still used to be. It's not a secret, nor am I claiming that her allegation is false. Reducing her to her disorder. There is no confirmation that she has all of any. Oh my god. I do not mean this maliciously. I truly believe that this may provide an important perspective of. I'm sorry, OP. You're losing me here. Why would you think that this was relevant? Okay, Lucy, if OP, if we want to use this logic, a lot of the other livers have mental illnesses and have all sorts of mental disorders as well. So in your own logic, we should also take that into consideration and maybe take a lot of their words with a massive grain of salt and like maybe imply that they may be lying. And maybe that's why they may have bullied Selen. Because if you're trying to pull this, then we might as well pull this for every other NIJISANJI liver as well. Do you see how fucked up this is? Sources? Here's the source. Wait, this is not the other source. Wait, where's the source? Oh, reference. Okay, wait, let's look up the reference. Regardless, chat. Regardless. Even if Doki Bird does have this, the fact that I'm just gonna ignore this. Because if you try, again, chat, if the OP tries to use this logic, to use this line of thinking, her entire defense for NIJISANJI falls apart. Because we'd have to also diagnose, or not maliciously diagnose, we also have to factor in the many mental issues and mental illnesses and like all sorts of mental disorders that the other livers have, and try to ascertain and like try to make a map on what would that mean for NIJISANJI and Selen. It would open an entire can of worms that I think the OP did not realize she was about to open. It's stuff destructive to your own case. So, no. Conclusions. NIJISANJI EN can suffer from incompetences in their management and PR, and livers can wish to stay in the company, strive for improvement, and rally for a better 2024. I agree. Selen can have suffered intense mental stress leading up to her termination, but this does not immediately implicate her co-workers as malicious bullies who deserve eternal punishment. Maybe not all of her co-workers, maybe some of her co-workers. There is likely no black and white here. Both statements and from any color in Selen may hold weight. If you read until now, thank you. You may disagree with what I have written entirely, and it's simply not feasible for me to cover the expanse of evidence, speculation, and hatred that has unraveled so far. But I ask you to try to have a critical view of the situation. I'm doing that right now. I'm applying logic and reason. And I'm not falling into the herd mentality. Like I said, I actually also disagree with a lot of the herd mentality stuff. Think about whether it's not right to trust the crockpot VT narratives which claim certain livers are actually managers running the company who picks and chooses opportunities. She's talking about the grand unification rat. Think about whether you actually have watched these livers and you have supported Selen. And yes, I do. I have supported these livers. I have watched Selen, and I have this. Do people care about the livers under NIJISANJI? I do. Do they even care about Selen and Doki Bird? I do. Do they care about the truth? I do. Do they care about being right or silencing anyone who disagrees by weaponizing someone else's mental illness as a complete shield against criticism and valid concern? All of this does not apply to me. Why? Because I was genuinely a NIJISANJI supporter. I loved that branch. I was a die-hard fucking Luxium fan. I bought into the hype that NIJIEN was gonna overtake HoloLive. I supported these people. Of course, HoloLive may have been my home base, but this does not apply to me. Which is why I also have the feeling that it may not apply to people like me, but it may apply to a lot of people that are just eating the drama without caring about the drama itself. Because I do agree that there are people who aren't logical and reasonable, that are letting their emotions run wild, that fall into the herd mentality, the crab mentality. I do believe that there are people out there who hasn't even watched a single clip of Selen. They haven't even watched or supported any liver under NIJISANJI. That don't even care about the Selen. They just want someone to hate, or maybe some fucking tribalistic HoloLive and other fan bases out there that just want NIJISANJI to crash and burn. There are people that are like that, and there are many of them that are like that. And I think that's what this document is targeting. But for people like me, a lot of her words, a lot of the statements in here do not make sense. The world has listened to every word Selen has to say, but has refused to take a single statement made by NIJIEN, not even the company, but the 32 livers under the branch, at face value. Do you really think all of these people are being held hostage by a mean and evil company? I do not. Silence from showing support from someone who was their friend for 2.5 years, if there wasn't any reason for them not to. At the very least, everyone involved in this situation has requested an end to the harassment. Please listen. I can agree with her last few points. Just don't harass everybody, leave them alone. Just watch who you want to watch. So, that was a wild document. Yep. And, I'm trying to collect my thoughts. In my opinion, I understand why the NIJISANJI girls and the NIJISANJI boys and the fans are like this. I don't blame them. I can see and I can understand why people want to believe the best in people. In fact, that's the reason why I'm not even calling NIJISANJI a black company right now. Even though a lot of people around me are encouraging me to make that stance, I'm not someone that's easily swayed. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people, especially the livers and the fans of the livers, they're backed into a corner. They're backed into a corner. This is not for us. It's for certain types of people. So schizos. I'm not. Maybe it depends on your definition of a schizo. I don't think so. Me, I think this is a very emotional person that just wants to rationalize everything that happened in support of NIJISANJI, without trying to pin the blame or without trying to make it so that she's against Selen. She's trying her best. Okay, that's my take. I disagree with a lot of the statements. I think it lacked a lot of context. I think it lacked a lot of information. I think there's a lot of logic that doesn't make sense, and that there's and all that all that sort of hoopla. But I think this was a genuine attempt to try to get people to just leave them alone. So, and I can get behind that message. At this point, I may publicly criticize NIJISANJI. I may, do laugh at the memes and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, I've left them alone. I haven't gotten into their streams. I've unsubscribed and I've unfollowed. And I think that's what the OP wants us to do at the end of the day. To just stop the harassment. She doesn't care if you believe her. She just wants you to stop going on the livers streams, leaving mean comments, harassing them, bombarding them, leaving all sorts of actually vile shit on their tags. That's my take. That's me. That's genuinely me being yeah. I'm generally being supportive of not supportive. I'm generally being apologetic, like an apologist of this of the maker of this document. Because this is not malicious. I appreciate the attempt, okay? I appreciate the I think that's the least we can do, chat. I think the least we can do is that we can appreciate the attempt at discourse and the attempt at spinning their own rats. Because if the fucking grand unification rat the great unifying rat can exist, then I don't see why this when I don't think I can't see why a statement like or a document like this shouldn't exist either. You know, she's failed. I agree that she's failed, but the attempt is what matters to me. It's her intention behind it. I don't care what the fuck what the end result is. Obviously, the end result is not that bad. I mean, it is kind of bad, but it's not that. It's not like she was saying that Selene was lying or anything. It's not like the other fucking Locksnock sisters that were trying to plan a hate brigade on Selene. But I'm looking at her concerns, at her. Oh, not sorry. I'm assuming that it's her because it's. I'm assuming it's her because you know. I'm sorry, but I'm just assuming or just trying to look at the best of their intentions and their concerns. So yeah, it's an attempt. So the creator of the doc deleted their account / post. Did they? I mean, it's fucking anonymous, right? I don't know who created it. Wait, someone created it? It was anonymous. That's the thing. There may be a lot of people that that reposted it, but I don't think, right? So it was an attempt, is what you're saying. Okay, not in the malicious sense. Okay, don't don't put words in my mouth. But yes, go back and read that part about Doki's mental health and tell me this isn't malicious, bro. Maybe it's me coping. Yeah, genuinely, maybe it is me coping. But this is fucked up. I've said this before. This is fucked up. They're opening a can of worms here that shouldn't be there. But it's hard for me to claim that this is malicious. I think it's like it's in bad taste, but I don't think it was necessarily malicious. These are blatant lies, including the BPD was nasty. No, I agree that it was nasty, but I don't think the intention was like to, or I don't know. Maybe I am coping. Maybe I am coping. Maybe. It's been deleted. Let's refresh. I hope it's not because of me, right? It's not. Okay, it's not. It's still here. It's still here. I'm refreshing it right now. It's still here. Yeah, it's still not here. It's still here. Can you link it? Yeah, I can link it. It's a good choice from the OP to make it an anonymous document. If someone made this shit and like linked their fucking Twitter account or something, there would have been hell. Fuck me. So yeah. That's the document for you. I don't see it as malicious, at least most of it. Yeah, I don't either. That's the thing. So that's it. That's my reaction. Chat, we can disagree, chat, okay? Here's the thing, we can disagree. Again, I don't want any of y'all fucking... I better not see any fucking Twitter threads. Like, I don't want to see people trying to, like, use rallying under my name or something, okay, chat? Listen to the Nusagi Creed. We sit, and we observe and watch in silence. We do not interfere. Oh my god, we're gonna become a cult at this point. That's actually like a creed. That sounds like it comes from Assassin's Creed or something. Gurat owner is a coward. Gurat is gone. No! What do you mean it's a coward? Look, chat. Okay, I'm gonna pull out the Gurat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm shutting it down because it's all gone too far. It's broken containment to drama streamers and schizos with throbbing hate boners for certain people that have started it as gospel and dogma when it was only ever speculation. I started pushing this Rrat because I genuinely thought it made sense, humanized the people involved, and gave them understandable motivations beyond being evil for the sake of being evil. I made the rentry to keep the narrative like that instead of spreading it as a schizo bastardized version where certain livers are Machiavellian sociopaths. It didn't work out that way, and only signal boosted the hate further. It's a speak of speculative fiction intentionally written to sound convincing, but I guess it worked too well. If real evidence comes out that conclusively proves this right, I might bring it back. I agree with this. The Gurat, interesting as it might have sound, it's become like the headcanon for a lot of people. They started treating it as truth. It made sense. I've made this multiple times, and I've said this multiple times yesterday, and my clip that I taped down in my second channel. It's just speculation. It made a lot of sense. And the thing about that Rrat was that it actually made the livers sympathetic. It made the livers sympathetic. But then a lot of people are trying to spin it as if they try to make the worst out of it, assume the worst from it. I know some of you have backups and screenshots. I can't do anything about that, but I no longer want any of it. Hopefully, at least the new version will stay here. It stopped being productive for a long time ago and started being a witch hunt. The idea of 30,000 people reading this and even 1% of them being a schizo enough to take it seriously, they start harassing other people who may or innocent for all we know, makes me sick, and the thought of anything bad happening to anyone scares me. Doki said she doesn't want anyone to be hurt and just wants to move on, and this wasn't helping anyone anymore. I'm sorry for everyone this hurt, and I'm sorry to Era. I know it will fall in deaf ears, but I ask people to stop sharing it whenever form it may take from now on. Please spread positivity and love to those VTubers you love instead of seething about the people you hate. Just unsub and ignore everyone else. Which is the same fucking message that I've been spamming for the last couple weeks. Just ignore it. Ignore everyone, okay? This is not the OP being a coward. This is the OP. This is literally fucking... who's that guy that made the nuclear bomb? The father of the nuclear bomb. What's his name? I saw the... Oppenheimer. This is Oppenheimer realizing that his creation created a fucking weapon of mass destruction. Okay? And he feels sorry about that. So, I don't think this is cowardice. Okay? I think it's kind of insensitive. Nosagi, can I link you to debunk this document at least if someone asks? Of course. I mean, do it on email. I'll try to respond to you. I'm like super tired, bro. I'm sleepy. My throat's fucked up. I haven't eaten and all that kind of shit. Yeah. But generally speaking, yes. Too late? People already screenshotted it? Bro, of course people already screenshotted it. People already made videos about it. People already like made an entire like fucking paragraph, not paragraphs, like maps around it. So, yeah. This is what happened to the Gurat. And then to this other document. Damn. I'm really hoping here, chat. I'm really hoping that the OP for this tries to adjust this and addresses my concerns so I can cover it or something again. But chat, I'm sorry. I kind of don't want to milk the drama anymore. I'm tired. I haven't slept properly for the past couple days. I'm tired. I'm tired. Oh my god. The money isn't even worth it anymore. I mean... I say that, but then I come back begging in the next couple months, waiting for another drama so I can milk it, right? But I feel like in terms of money, I've made enough to cover me for the next 3 months. I feel like that's enough. Yeah. Story makes sense, though. Of course it makes sense, but it's speculation. Oh my god, why is like chat so slow? I mean, chat so fast. It's gotten to a point that I can't read it anymore. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh chat. Lol, bro, you go swimming in dough. I know, but you know, yeah. So like I said, um, whoever made this document, I appreciate the effort. I don't, contrary to what a lot of people might think, I don't think you're being malicious. I think you genuinely just want to get a lot of things off your chest and you want to rationalize a lot of things from your POV. I may not agree, I don't agree with every single one of what you said, but your message of just spreading hate, not love, just fucking and harassment, I'm in full support of that. I'm in full support of that. Yeah. But yeah. Genuinely not neutral by any means, no. I forgot if he said neutral in his on the oh. Yeah, from a neutral standpoint. Yeah. The DAP thing? Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to look at the. I mean, should I look at the DAP thing? I kind of want to react to it, but at the same time, I'm too tired. Let's go over. I work in comms now. Reddit post. Ah, fuck yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Let's go. Because there was. Hold on. Uh, did someone DM me on it? Oh wait, here he goes. Here we go. So there is this. Apparently, a lot of other people really love this rationalization. It makes a lot of sense, and it's apparently very, very like realistic. So this is an actual challenger to the God Rat. Mm-hmm. Arthritis, thanks for the super chat. That doc is by a doc site. I have sent the proof in DM. It was made with malicious intent. Really? I don't see your DM. That wild though, wild if true. But hold on. Hold on, chat. Hold on. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, back. This is our now. This, okay, so going back to what I was about to say. Now this is a rat. The rat. The actual god rat. And you know what? Because I'm super tired, I actually prepared something in my fridge. You know what that is? Beer. So I'm gonna get it real quick. I'll be back, chat. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. We'll go over this later. We'll go over this later. Oh, fuck. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for waiting. I appreciate the happy hour in the chat. Hold on, let me just take a swig. Anyway, let's go over this shit. I work in comms for a living and can only think of one explanation for Nijisanji's bizarre PR strategy. Like everybody else, I've been confused and dismayed by Nijisanji's bizarre, self-destructive approach to breaking the news of Salen's termination and then responding to Dokibird's statements. Fans have thrown out a lot of theories to explain Niji's approach, ranging from plausible sounding accounts of the facts to feverish rats straight from the belly of VT. I can't claim any special inside knowledge about the specific set of facts of this situation, but I do work in comms for a living and can speak to the general dynamics at play in public disputes between highly visible actors in which one or both parties are subject to NDAs. Based on my professional experience and my knowledge of the statements from Nijisanji and Dokibird, the explanation here seems fairly obvious. Nijisanji misinterpreted the personal account of the workplace bullying Selen that Nijisanji misinterpreted the personal account of the workplace bullying that Selen sent them shortly after firing her, and they misinterpreted that document hard. Okay. I don't know if Nijisanji missed the mark here because Selen's accompanying documentation for this account is ambiguous because there was a mistake in translation from one or both law firms, or because EN management adopted a wholly cynical interpretation of the document to try this defense in the court of public opinion. But I'm pretty confident that everything that's happened so far can be explained by this fundamental failure to communicate. If I'm right, the timeline goes like this. Salan posts her MV for Perm's approval, management leaves her on red for 37 hours, and then fails to get back to her for another 15 hours. So Salan goes ahead and posts the videos without final Perm's check. There's a lot we don't know about the background and context here. For instance, had management already seen the video prior to this final check? If yes, why hadn't they raised the issue with the graduated livers proactively? This is a good point. If no, why hadn't they seen the video during the months-long process of its creation? Also a good point. Did anyone in management give Selen a deadline for Perm's check and then that she blew by? I tend to think that the answers of these Selens are not favorable to Nijisanji, since they would have shown evidence that Selen was at fault for the missed Christmas relate date during Elira's response team. If such evidence existed. Regardless, the answers of these questions actually do not matter for a breakdown of Niji's thought process and subsequent PR nightmare. Both management and talent reach out to Selen about her decision to post the MV without full perms, and shortly after she attempts this, management reaches out to Selen's emergency contact and removes Selen's access to socials, posting a skinwalked explanation for her absence on December 28th. Again, there was a lot we don't know here. Were there other talent management mocking, cruel, or abusive in their applications, or were their words interpreted by such as Selen? If Selen's management were abusive, was this a one-time thing or a part of a larger pattern or behavior? Once again, the following thing that matters here is that the following version of events makes no sense no matter how you answer these questions. The thing that matters here is that any of these versions of these events, a comm teams involved in the decision-making process realizes at this exact moment that they're dealing with a potential PR nightmare. It would be disastrous if the public learned that the beloved liver Selen Tatsuki attempted because of harassment and mismanagement in the NIJIEN workplace. It's not actually the comm's job to manage the frayed relationship with the talent, but at this point, there are probably discussions about potential responses on in which way the situation develops. Yeah. Selen hires a legal representation to help mediate her business relationship with Selen, and both parties discuss potential next steps and remedies. Talks between Selen and management about a return to Nijisanji breakdown, and both sides realize that some sort of split is inevitable by late January. Nijisanji wants Selen to explain that the MV was taken down because of her negligence of her part. Selen believes that management is responsible for the failure, and additionally has other grievances about how she's been treated in Nijisanji before, during, and after this event. Per Dokibird's first statement on the matter, she asked Selen on more neutral terms. She asked to leave Nijisanji on more neutral terms on January 26th. Per her second statement on the matter, Nijisanji's legal team was unresponsive after this request. Frustrated by Nijisanji's unresponsive, and Selen's lawyer suggests that she send a help personal account to her personal grievances in Nijisanji to Nijisanji's legal team in order to help them understand their grievances. If my understanding of the situation is accurate, This is the exact moment that everything goes to shit. Per Nijisanji's termination notice, we know that Selen has told Nijisanji through her legal representation that she intends to speak up about her experiences at Nijisanji if she's terminated. Moreover, Selen Tatsuki insisted that if the negotiations did not progress, she would proceed to release a statement regarding her claims to the public. Now that they received a document written in a personal tone alleging all sorts of abusive practices from management and or talent and filled with potentially sensitive documentations about other livers, per Selen's second statement, she wrote this account to document my thoughts and history of evidence during my darkest time mentally, and it included privacy information that should not be public. Someone in Nijisanji's legal team comes to the conclusion, cynically or naively, based on the ambiguous constructions from Selen or based on bad translation from staff, it does not matter. That this account of Selen's is in fact the statement that she intends to release if she is terminated, and this scrambles the jets. So, sorry, I'm a bit oofies right now, but damn. Immediately, the team this is with the assumption, by the way, that they have a communication team, goes into full crisis mode and scrambles to get the termination out the door so they can get the word in. In my experience, working comms during times of crisis perfect immediately goes out the window and it's replaced by quick. There's an enormous advantage to being the first actor to explain their version of events to the public. Even very experienced communication teams will make sloppy mistakes in this race to publish. With this context in mind, it's easy to see how Nijisanji screwed up their response to Selen's account to workplace conditions. Remember, Nijisanji's legal team has already been given a notice of Selen's intent to publish a statement if negotiations fall apart, and presumably has already advised her legal representation about potential risks that come with the violations of an NDA. Now, see, this document has decided that it's a copy of Selen's statement. So they think that she's decided on publishing this even after being warned about the consequences of violating an NDA. Comms likely isn't party to any of this communication, but they are given a copy of the statement itself, and they're told legal says Selen intends to publish this. Yeah. The comm team posts the termination notice they've already written for Selen, and they add a bunch of defensive language to get out ahead and claims in her document. Copy like this. Selen believes that the claims raised by Selen and Nicolor are in fact referring to the situations that arose when she was warned about her breaches of activity and activity rules, and attempts to shift the responsibility of these violations, damaging Nicolor and Nijisanji EN's image. Nicolor firmly believes that we and the other livers under our affiliation have not engaged in unjust practices towards Selen Tatsuki. This makes no sense unless the communication professional writing expects the claim raised by Selen Tatsuki to be available for the public consumption in the near future. This solves the first mystery of why did Nijisanji allude to the bullying from the talents when Doki did not. Niji's legal team understood Selen's private account of her experiences to be a public tell-all account that management then instructed comms to preempt. Additionally, comms also begin to praise for Selen's statement by preparing to counter specific allegations she raises. At least some of these allegations involve specific livers. So the comm team, working with legal, shows talent selected portions of Selen's document in order to coach them on a statement about any sensitive information regarding past lives, workplace communications, etc. This explains the second mystery of why did Illyra, Vox, Ike, Enna, and Miley and Enna see portions of Selen's document. Com believed that each of these talents would need to respond specific allegations for their behavior and began prepping these statements based on legal's failure to understand the nature of Selen's account. Yeah. Millie, Jesus. Immediately after Nijisanji's notice, Dokibird releases her own prepared statement that does not include sensitive information or specifics but does reveal her her attempt, and confirms the general claim that she believed NIJIEN was an abusive workplace environment. Within an hour of Nijisanji's termination of Selen Tatsuki, Dokibird rises from the ashes and publishes a prepared statement that's obviously been checked by her legal representation. From a PR perspective, it's hard to imagine how this could have gone any worse for Niji. Dokibird's statement begins with "I will not be silenced anymore," reminding the public of the still recent "Where is Selen" controversy, where she brings up bullying but leaves it ambiguous whether talent management or both are implicated. Making Nijisanji's preemptive mention of talent seem like yet another instance of the company throwing its livers under the bus. I agree with this. This actually makes a lot of sense. So you know what's being said here, chat? Basically, because management thought, according to the notice or the document that Selen sent them, they thought that Selen was gonna involve the bullying of the livers. And because Nijisanji wanted to publish things first, they decided to put that there before Selen could do it. And by doing that, they effectively killed themselves. They effectively fucked themselves over in the ass. That's what they did. Management panicked, exactly. Finally, she brings up the suicide fuck, I said it again. She brings up the suicide attempt, revealing that Nijisanji covered up this serious tragedy for over a month and puppeted Selen's account to reassure public. Yes, there's a lot more from this. This statement ends... Oh wait, no, there's more. Selen, seeing this massive shitstorm of their failed strategy has caused legal, talent, and management and comms all begin to flail, leading to the PR disaster that was Illyra's stream. Honestly, I can't even begin to hazard a guess at the precise series of events that led to the stream. There are too many unknowns about the specifics of Selen's allegations at this point. Too many parties desperate for vindication who might conceivably be in a position to dictate how many companies should organize its last-ditch efforts at crisis PR. You can read Illyra's stream as a disgusting attempt to provoke Selen into revealing her grievances with Nijisanji so they can be litigated in the public square. A talent-initiated response for their real fear of personal information being leaked that the management cynically encouraged in order to deflect from their own failures, or any number of possibilities. The bottom line is that Nijisanji's talking points do not update to reflect the new terrain of the public dispute. They continue to treat Doki as a walking, talking brand risk despite her clear interest in just moving on from the controversy. And this just creates a whole new set of fan grievances and lurid theories and conspiracy theories. Which I agree. They literally see Doki as an explosive, as a bomb waiting to explode. When in reality, Doki just wants to go, man. He just wants to go. Hey, sorry, chat. I'm like fucking shit-faced. No, not shit-faced, but a little under the influence, so... Not yet understanding how Niji misinterpreted her account of workplace conditions, Doki fires back on Niji on Twitter, explaining her understanding that this document was private. At this point, Doki responds to ill-conceived Illyra's stream, rightfully conveying her shock that this document was shared with other livers. She also speculates if Talent was given access to her medical records, igniting yet another accusations and attacks. Legal is once again called in to assess this accusation of leaking private HR documents/medical records, which would incredibly be damaging if true at this point. And at this point, someone finally realizes the scope of the miscommunication. Speaking as a comms professional, I am almost certain that the next statement we get from Nijisanji was written by a lawyer covered in flop, sweat, and covering their asses rather than in-house comms team. The statement alleges that in order to check the validity of Selen and her lawyer's claim, any caller shared only necessary parts of the information sent by her lawyer with our livers and led an internal investigation, ignoring the fact that sharing any of the information in this account of workplace abuses would be in violation of Selen's request for that document to remain in private, and ignoring the fact that livers would not necessarily need to be informed of these specific allegations in order for Nijisanji to investigate the validity of Selen's claims. They also have the right that they have not given any other talent the specific information and documents which Selen's lawyer requested that we do not share with our livers, which fluent readers of legalese will notice is a different form of the specific information and documents which Selen's lawyers request we keep private from all non-legal parties. Do you know what this means? Basically, we have shown literally everything except the ones that Selen's lawyer didn't want to see. Everyone else to see, I mean. This statement ends with we investigated ourselves and found no evidence of wrongdoing type of assurance. But reading between the lines, it's clear that something has broken down with Nijisanji's handling of private documents. Nijisanji's legal team has invented a new reason as for why Talent was shown this document to cover for their own initial misunderstanding of what the document actually was. But the writing is still on the wall for anyone paying attention. Anyone Around the same time as this statement, Doki walks back on the claim of leaked medical information, but reiterates that some of her information was improperly shared. Okay, yeah. She once again explains that she just wanted to move on from this chapter of her life, and by this point, legal and comms understand that there's a possibility to de-escalate the situation. Someone from Nijisanji's side makes an overture to Doki's lawyer, and at the last, the two parties begin to address the underlying misunderstanding. Finally, Doki posts a final statement that explains the pertinent document, alludes to some unspecified miscommunication without admitting any specific failure on her part, reiterates her intention to keep the private information private, and calls for all fans to cease harassing Talents. More than anything else discussed so far, it's this final statement that has convinced me that this whole disaster started with Legal's failure to properly understand Selen's account of her experience. Doki's final tweet reads like a carefully crafted statement that has been vetted by both parties in order to put the controversy to rest. Under the hood, this statement does a lot of things all at once, and it's worth unpacking them to all understand the various concerns that's being addressed. So, yeah. Yeah. I generally agree. Well, not agree, but I can see it making sense. I can see that it genuinely does make sense. Doki reboots the specific claims that Elira Ike Vox made towards her, explaining that the recording was a one-time remnant of a pre-event mic check and that the insensitive information was always intended to remain private. This allows her to get the last word on these allegations, avoiding any situations where fans might be left with the impression that Selen ever intended to leak this information. Doki acknowledges the potential for information to be lost in translation and thus lending support to the idea that both parties' lawyers failed to understand one another. Yes. Importantly, for any specific parties in NIJISANJI who may have misinterpreted Selen's document, Doki gives a fig leaf justification for NIJISANJI's terrible response by explaining her intentions for public comments have changed over time. Doki writes that everything I post to the public about the situation was a response if it was a month ago. If it was a month ago, it would have been different because I was angry. I was also very alone in my head, and it's not a month it's not a month ago, and I've accepted it. 1 month before Doki's final statement would be around January 14th, before Selen requested to leave NIJISANJI. If she indicated that she planned to respond to a termination with a public statement around this time, her words here give anyone responsible for this mishaps a fig leaf excuse that they can point in order to explain what happened. Whoever is responsible for this mishap is almost certainly losing their job. Which is why, again, we've seen the manager stuff. OP talks about skinwalked livers? What do you mean? Wait, we haven't even finished this chat. There's more coming out? What? Oh my god, we're going through a what if scenario right now. This is pointless. I'm addressing this speculation because this is a speculation that a lot of people think makes sense. It's the second to the god rat. What happened? No, I probably just just got one guide. I don't know if anything happened. Anyway, Doki's statement ends with a request of her fans to not harass the livers and a straightforward explanation of her intentions to keep these matters private. NIJIEN's credibility is on fire right now, and Doki is the only party in this dispute who fans and the outside onlookers might possibly listen to. She's always been very clear that fans should not harass the Talents, but ending on this point one last time is crucial for Niji if they want to start putting out the fires. Doki has also been fairly explicit about her intentions to move forward, but her comments that, for those who wish to see receipts or documents or anything else, hoping I will reveal them, I'm sorry, but basically she's not going to reveal them, is the most explicit version of this message so far. By writing this, Doki has effectively demonstrated to both her fans and Nijisanji itself that she does not intend to leak the sensitive information. This single sentence conclusively addresses the fears that prompted Nijisanji to overreact and provides a commitment that Nijisanji can hold against Doki in the court of public opinion if she decides to provide receipts, while also letting her twist the knife one last time by implicitly blaming Niji for their improper handling of private materials. This sentence is very cleverly written and manages to convey all these ideas in a very concise way, and whoever wrote it 100% knew what they were doing. Finally, most importantly, this statement was translated into Japanese. If everything I've laid out so far wasn't enough, this last detail convinces me that Doki's most recent statement was a collaborative, edited attempt at de-escalation. So basically, both parties were working on this. If I'm right, that Nijisanji was somehow involved in vetting this final statement, it makes sense that they'd want it translated for JP-only staff and shareholders, board members to read. Remember, Doki does not speak fluent Japanese, so someone was either hired to translate this document or provided the service free of charge. It's plausible that one of Doki's many bilingual friends in the VTubing world offered to step in and cleared many misunderstandings. But it seems more likely to me that someone in Nijisanji either translated the document in-house or paid for the document to be translated by an outside contractor, probably more advisable in light of everything that has happened to Nijisanji so far. Going this route allows internal Nijisanji staff and stakeholders to easily assess how this situation is being resolved, while also giving Doki a chance to explain herself to the JP audience, who has largely been unsympathetic to the situation. So, yeah. So if I'm right, what should we expect to see next? Assuming that I've laid out everything so far is more or less accurate, Nijisanji has two options for their path forward. The first is a long period of silence from EN livers, followed by a gradual ramp-up of streaming and a total version of a PR strategy. Nijisanji would pivot their misguided attacks and attempt to just memory hole these events, counting on the internet's short attention span to eventually take the heat off their talent and hoping that enough fans stick around to keep the EN branch financially viable. The second approach Nijisanji might take is one of the more final statement explaining the failure of to communicate in general terms, apologizing profusely to Selen and promising that those responsible have been fired out a cannon into the sun in order to take the heat off the talent and the rest of management. Oof. So a scapegoat. The second approach is that Nijisanji needs a scapegoat. In my previous experience working with public-facing companies, I found that C-suite, unfortunately, often loath to fully explain fucks-ups even after they implement and fixes. Oh wait, this is just his personal experience. Final thoughts. Reduced down to its essence, the basic task of a comms team is to understand an issue of interest, analyze the public's view of that issue in real time, and craft messages that ultimately move the public's view in the client's desired direction. If the version of events I've laid out here is more or less accurate, Nijisanji's PR strategy failed because they managed to screw up each of these three tasks. Nijisanji's comms teams may have gotten on the wrong foot because they were getting bad information about the issue of the interest from legal. But their subsequent failures to adjust their strategy in response to Doki's statement and the public speculation are additional black marks in their own right, separate from this original mistake. Yep. So what do we think? So basically, Nijisanji PR is the reason why everybody failed. It's either this or the Rrat, chat. This Rrat is also pretty good. That's the beauty of Rats, chat. That's the beauty of Rats. Whenever you are able to piece together certain pieces of information, come up with a sensible rationale that don't necessarily make someone completely evil or completely dumb, they become believable. Which is why this is believable. It actually makes a lot of sense. To be fair, the Gurat, the great unifying rat, also made a lot of sense. A few like details didn't add up, but generally speaking, it also made a lot of sense. But this is mostly specifically just honed in, all in on the termination statement, not necessarily like the history of NIJIEN, which I think the Gurat actually like ties together better. This video does not account for why the Illyra video even happened. Gurat does, and then some. Well, no, the Rat explains that the reason why the Illyra video happened is because management. Wait, is somewhere along here. I forgot the exact wording. Excuse me. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It was somewhere around here. It's that management kinda does not, or rather, management really actually might have did shown only specific information to the livers. But what does not explain though is why it had to be 3 people. Why it had to be fucking Elira and Vox and Ike. And the reason for that again is because they wanted first blood. They wanted to make that public statement first. I mean, for the termination statement. Not we're drifting apart from the black screen statement now. Why on the Elira channel? Now that's the interesting part. Even we don't know why the Elira channel. It also doesn't address Riku's statement. I mean, Riku's statement, yeah, sure, it doesn't, huh? It kind of doesn't, huh? Let's go over some comments. I agree with all of this, except the fact that NIJISANJI collaborated with Doki on crafting her statement. I think it was done by her and her manager, and it was translated because she wanted to make sure her words were exactly what she wanted to say. I mean, at the end of the day, chat, it's a rat. It's a rat. I doubt Riku actually knows the full details of what went down. Yeah, I kind of don't. I kind of doubt it either. Yeah, I doubt it. Anyway, chat. Ugh, fuck me. It's so bad. So that's the anti-rat equation. And yeah. I'm going to sleep. I don't know if there's gonna be any response to this. I just wanna sleep. I kinda don't wanna touch anything Nijisanji related for in the next 1-2 days or so. But if my hand is forced, I think I will. Yeah. Going to pass out. I'm kinda tired, yeah. And my voice is aching. So, oh my god. I would like to tell everybody in the chat right now that I appreciate the massive, massive generosity. Maybe in the next 3 days from now, I'm going to make a super chat reading stream, just summarizing and just putting down all my final thoughts into the whole matter. Because, or depending on when the fucking situation is gonna end, I guess. I don't know if this is gonna drag out in the next couple weeks or so, but fuck me in the ass, I guess. I hope not. Anyway, chat. I'm gonna collapse. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna collapse. You already know my opinion on things and and all that sort of stuff. Thank you for the super chats. Again, I will read all of it in a super chat reading stream while addressing everything that happened. So, thank you. Thank you for everything, and thank you for the people that donated to me in stream elements. Again, I will read all of it later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, chat. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.